from campus. Young people are going hard from campus. Come on, tell me walk one. Campus connection, yeah, that's a one now, yeah. Walk one from campus. How we are carrying hard from campus. Come on, tell me walk one. Campus connection,
Yes. Welcome, one and all to Campus Connection here on the family station Love 101. We are so excited that you are here with us. I am Jonathan Fletcher, and with me is my co-host.
I am Anesta, and this is such a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to tell all of you about today's exciting program. We have a special topic for you guys. It's domestic violence intervention. And of course, Campus Connection is proudly brought to you by the Live Good Anti-Violence Campaign from the Ministry of National Security and Peace. They are Jamaica's partner in advancing progress and building peace. And you know, Jonathan, when we think about what's going on in our country and just the statistics associated with domestic violence, I was just reading where 85% of our children experience some kind of domestic violence. And that in itself is an alarming figure when we consider just everything that's happening. And I feel like this is such a needed discussion that we're going to go through later on in the show today.
Absolutely. Definitely looking forward to unpacking that. But before we get into the show, let's have a word from our sponsor.
Well, I don't believe we do have a word from our sponsors today, but just to give everyone a heads up, we will be talking with some members of the Ministry of National Security and Peace. They are our sponsors, but we have them coming up in the discussion segment on domestic violence intervention. So that's coming up at 5:55. We have Corporal Crisania Cameron and Constable Demario Golding from the JCF's National Domestic Violence Intervention Unit. We also have a student coming on, Aaron Brown. He's an activist and he's a public speaker. And so I'm interested to hear his take on this topic. But even before we get there, guys, we have our education news and bulletin. We have a very special testimony feature by a graduate student from the Boston University, and we're going to hear more about her testimony. We also have a special guest for our special interview. Jonathan, you might be familiar with this guest.
No, I'm not.
No, you're not. Her name is Kishana Webb. She is from the UTech Journalism Society, and they're running a campaign right now on postpartum health, and we want to hear more from them later on in the show.
Absolutely. Definitely looking forward to that and more here inside Campus Connection on the family station Love 101. Let's now go straight into our education news and bulletin, and this will be done by Camille Lawrence, our campus consultant.
Education news and bulletins for Tuesday, March 24, 2026. Students lauded for creativity and vision. Students were lauded for their creativity and vision at the announcement of the Winners and Awards ceremony for the Sustainable Development Goals Youth Creative Expression Competition on March 19 at the Ultimate Court Hotel in Kingston. The initiative, which was spearheaded by the Planning Institute of Jamaica Sustainable Development Goals Secretariat in collaboration with eLearning Jamaica, provided students with a platform to creatively express their vision for Jamaica's future through artwork, storytelling, poetry, and other written forms. The competition enabled participants to showcase their talents while contributing meaningfully to Jamaica's future development in alignment with Vision 2030 Jamaica. Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, Honorable Olivia Grange, in her address read by Permanent Secretary Denzel Thorpe, noted that entries from students in grades 4 to 13 not only earned awards, but will also be featured in Jamaica's 2026 Voluntary National Review to be submitted to the United Nations. Chief Executive Officer of eLearning Jamaica Company Limited, Andrew Lee, praised the high quality of submissions and underscored the role of technology in supporting education. The competition invited students to submit visual art and written pieces reflecting themes such as climate action, education, poverty reduction, and innovation. And now for the bulletins. The Students Christian Fellowship and Scripture Union, SCFSU Jamaica, presents their joint inductive Bible study training, March 25 at 6 p.m. Jamaica time via Zoom. Zoom ID 853-2710-2761, passcode 953361. The UWI-UCCF presents All Night Prayer 2026 under the theme Divine Connection and Realignment, Beholding His Glory, Securing His Legacy. Friday, March 27 to Saturday, March 28, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. at the UWI Mona Assembly Hall. Refreshments will be on sale. John Mark Wigan presents By Fire, the album launch, Saturday, March 28 at the Carl Hendrickson Auditorium, Jamaica College, featuring Ryan Davis, Audio Spencer Brown, Prince Saj, Kevin Downswell, Alicia Taylor, Rondell Positive, the Genesis Praise Squad, the Gilead Collective, and Go Worship. General admission $4,000, $10,000 preferred seating, parking, and refreshments. Gates open at 6 p.m. Each ticket purchase will help to fund the Student Housing Initiative. The Jubilee Worship Center presents the Inter-School Worship Experience, April 3, 2026 from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Anointed worship, dance, drama, fun, fellowship, and much more. Rep your school at 36 Valdez Road, Spanish Town, St. Catherine. Lunch will be provided. Don't miss it. Save the date. The Students Christian Fellowship and Scripture Union presents ISCF and UCCF Rally under the theme Unshakable Faith, Standing Firm in Christ, April 18, 2026. Look out for the details. That's the education news and bulletins for Campus Connection. I am Camille Lawrence.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much, Camille, for sharing Wagwan Pan Campus with us. Just in case you're joining us, we are talking about domestic violence intervention, something that is super, super important. We want you to be a part of the conversation. So please reach out to us at via WhatsApp, rather, 876-997-3125. That's 876-997-3125. You can join us on the live stream, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok at Love 101 FM Jamaica. We'd like to hear from you. We're going to go straight into our I Chose Christ feature, and this seems like a very interesting one. Anesta, tell the people, tell them what's going on.
Absolutely. So we have coming up a graduate student of journalism from Boston University. Her name is Kalide Terrelong, and she's going to tell us about why she chose Christ and why you should too. Listen in.
Hi, my name is Kalide Terrelong. I am a graduate student pursuing my master's in journalism. And my journey of transformation with Christ has been an interesting one. I got baptized officially when I was 14 years old. And at the time, I didn't fully understand what it meant to commit my life to Christ and the decision I was making. Even as I stepped into the water, my mindset was, I can pretend to be a good Christian girl at church in front of my elders, in front of my family, while at school or around my friends, I could still live a sinful life. I could still speak how I want to speak, do what I want to do, and live carelessly. And along the way, God started to really work on my heart. But even as he was working, I did not want to listen. Until one day I was heading home with my friends, and I was on a bus and the music was loud and the bass was beating. You could feel the bus shaking. And I remember just standing there and the place going absolutely quiet. And everything around me stood still. And I remember hearing the voice of God say to me, "You know you do not belong here." And in that moment, everything in my life changed. And I decided to live my life truly for Christ. Over the years, it has not been an easy journey. It has had its highs and its lows. But what I've learned is that there's nothing, absolutely nothing more fulfilling than loving Christ. I'm at a place where I can honestly say that I don't just love God, I am in love with God. It's not perfect. I am not perfect. I fall short way more than I should. But what I've learned is that no matter what, because life is going to happen. Things are going to happen. Challenges are going to come. But no matter what, hold on to the hem of his garment. Hold on to the hem of his garment. Because his grace will take you through every single time. Every single time. Even if you have to crawl with God. And never let go of the hem of his garment. I chose Christ. You should too.
Wow. Hold on and never. You heard her emphasize the never let go.
That I don't know if that's a testimony or a sermon. I don't know. I'm trying to,
to
work through. Yeah, really trying to work through.
It was
that
powerful
one,
though.
That's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful, to say the least. All right, and of course, if you want to share your testimony or your sermon, with us, please send us your testimony audio to love101 campus connection at gmail.com. That's love101 campus connection at gmail.com.
That's right, and we have for you all a very special interview coming right up. Her name is Kishana Webb. She is from the UTech Journalism Society. Woot woot! So no bias or anything, but that's a very noble and honorable society on UTech campus. No bias. And she will be sharing on their postpartum health campaign. Now, just to give a little bit of background, It Takes a Village is a public awareness and wellness campaign that is dedicated to reshaping how Caribbean communities view and support postpartum experiences. So I don't want to get too much into it. I want Kishana to do the explaining because I feel like she will do a better job than us.
Yeah,
right?
I think that make a whole heap of sense.
Yeah.
Kishana, welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Listen, my producer gave me some intel. I'm waiting for one of you to acknowledge a very important fact here.
Funny enough, I told Kishana, pretend like you don't know me. I told
Why
her.
would you do that? Everyone,
but anyway, this is my cousin. Yes, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. Because
I'm really proud that
I would have done it.
No, because honestly, I didn't know that this was happening. I really didn't know.
Okay,
I saw it on the script, and the producer called me and said, "Hey, XYZ." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool."
Okay.
But yeah, welcome to Campus Connection.
Welcome. So we are jumping to a quick break, Kishana, but I do want you to just think about and have your answer ready for us in terms of what is this whole postpartum campaign really about and why is it necessary? Why do you believe it's necessary right now? So as I said, we're going to a quick break, but when we return, more Campus Connection. Stay with us.
Campus Heights. Students are strap up in a price. I want to go on campus. Young people are hard on campus. Come on.
Sagicor Investments, leading the way to wealth as the #1 dealer in value traded on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. The time by Sagicor Investments is
5:45.
Following is paid for by the People's National Party.
Jamaica is destined for greatness, but something has gone wrong in our society. The respect we once showed our neighbors, the care we took in our communities, the simple decency of looking out for one another, these basic rules of a good life are fraying. We see it and feel it all around us every day. We must change this before it's too late. Building back better is not just about roofs and roads. It's about restoring the fabric of our society, integrity over corruption, community over selfishness, building a caring and loving society. That is why we call for a national movement to restore the moral foundations of our country, not led by politicians, but by spiritual and civic leaders and by each of you. When we repair how we treat each other, everything good becomes possible. A stronger Jamaica, a kinder Jamaica, and a better Jamaica for us all.
The proceeding was paid for by the People's National Party.
Every professional reaches a moment when growth calls. A promotion, a new opportunity, a bigger vision. At Mona School of Business and Management, our globally competitive graduate programs, including the internationally accredited MBA, are designed for ambitious professionals who are ready to lead. With flexible delivery options that fit your lifestyle, advancing your career is within reach. Learn from world-class faculty. Connect with influential leaders. Transform your future. Visit discover.msbm-uwi.org and apply online for a graduate degree. MSBM, Global Knowledge, Regional Solutions.
Join us as we celebrate 35 years of God's faithfulness. The National Intercessory Prayer Network of Jamaica and the Prayer Center of the Caribbean invite you to a Thanksgiving and fundraising gala banquet on Saturday, March 28th at 6 p.m. at Summit Kingston, featuring Dr. Jason Hubbard, Reverend Newton Gabardine, and Bishop C.B. Peter Morgan, with music by Warren Harris. Contribution $15,000 Jamaican dollars. Register now at SparOpen.com or call 876-829-6867. National Intercessory Prayer Network of Jamaica, 35 years strong. Together we rise.
Okay, where are the campus eyes? Students are strap up in a prize. We see the yard.
All right. Welcome back to Campus Connection here on the Family Station Love 101. This evening, we're talking about some very important topics. Our main segment is about domestic violence intervention, but we have a special interview with Kishana Webb from UTech Journalism Society at University of Technology, Jamaica, and she'll be talking about her postpartum health campaign. Very, very important topic. You know, it takes a village is a public awareness and wellness campaign dedicated to reshaping how Caribbean communities view and support postpartum experiences. So, Kishana, let's go straight into it. What is postpartum?
So postpartum, it's always also referred as the fourth trimester. You know, it is the period after childbirth where a mother will undergo like significant physical and emotional and psychological changes in her body, and life just adjusts for her. You know, it's a bit different because she welcomes a new human being to the world, and she probably don't have, you know, the the psychological capacity to understand that I brought this human here and so on. So yeah.
So it's a lot of changes taking place in her body, but help us to understand more about why this campaign is actually needed.
So this campaign, first and foremost, it was derived from a personal space. My mom, she was a living testimony of postpartum and postpartum depression. I grew up with my mom going through it, and it kind of mentally affected me. And so I think that I should have brought this postpartum campaign and raise awareness for others, because a mother will go through something and, you know, her family will just brush it off and be like, you're good, you're fine, It's okay, but they don't really understand that she needs you and she need her support and so on. Not saying my mom never have a support system, but other mothers out there, they need that. They need someone standing beside them, telling them it's okay, even asking them, even what you call that, like helping out with the baby and so on. Moms should not be alone during this time, and I thought it was a good initiative to bring awareness to and bring light to.
That's amazing.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So, based on your research, highlight some of the root causes or challenges faced by mothers. Like, what are some of the things that they're actually going through when they're experiencing postpartum depression?
So some mothers, they go through like as I said, depression. They feel like I don't want this. I never signed up for this. Some people think about self-harming themselves, and some just they feel pity for themselves, like I should have had this, I shouldn't have this, and you shouldn't be like that in that time. So yeah.
I find it very inspiring that you chose to raise awareness about this, and I just want to shout you out for that and your whole team. But can you tell us how we can actually support mothers who are going through their postpartum depression and all of the changes that come along with that?
Okay, so first and foremost, the team is me and my friend. My friends and I were a part of my team. It's actually, this campaign is for my final media project in university. I'm a fourth year student at the University of Technology Jamaica, and this can. What was the question previously?
How can persons support mothers who are going through their postpartum depression and changes?
So I think that you should be present as a village, as a community, as a family, as a friend. Be present. Ask if the person the mother needs help. Also ask the fathers, because it's not just about the mothers. It's also about the fathers and the community, the children. Ask and give support to them, and do not let them feel alone. Just include them and let them know that everything will be okay and you're not stuck in this time or in this capsule of depression. Just ensure they're included and be there for them. You should also show support for them and let them know that you care.
Wow. So many questions going through my mind as I listen to you speak. But based on the project, because this is your media project, it's what will, determine what will happen. And I'm sure this brings back some kind of memory. Whether it's good or bad. The sleepless nights and the different things that you had to endure.
More power to you, Kishana. You're in our thoughts and prayers.
But after media project though, Kishana, what do you hope to achieve beyond this health campaign? Is it that you're just doing it because I need this grade, or do you want to continue beyond media project?
I do want to continue beyond media project. This is a project that is dear to me. It's dear to my heart. It's dear to my family also. It's dear to my village, right? I don't want it to be a thing that is just a media project or for a grade. I want it to go beyond UTech. I want it to go beyond Jamaica. I want it to go beyond the whole, Caribbean. It's an initiative that I will continue, and I'll treat it like it's my baby, because it is very special to me. As I said, it was something that developed from a personal space, and I love it. I will not give up on this project.
Thank you for sharing that. And tell us just quickly where we can find highlights of the project, and also just shout out anybody that you'd like to thank for their support towards this campaign.
Okay, so before I shout out the socials, I'd like to thank God first and foremost, my mother, and my friends Brianna Robinson, Aaron Brown, Acid Dunbar, Cressia Simpson, Tatiana Palmer, Kimon Fitton, and the whole UTech Journalism Society, the whole BA CAT fourth years. I would like to thank you guys and thank you for being my village. I don't know where I would be without my cohort, to be honest, because everyone chips in and help where they can, and that is
Yep.
something that I really don't take for granted. I appreciate it.
Awesome,
Love it.
awesome. So
Love it.
tell us, shout out the IG, shout out the different platforms that we can learn more about this.
You can find Postpartum It Takes a Village on Instagram at Postpartum Village JA, on TikTok Postpartum Village JA, and on YouTube Postpartum Village JA. You can get to us on via email at Postpartum Village JA Camp, and also if you're on campus and you want to reach out to me, you can also reach out to me at Fells, the Fells building at 8B2. I'm always there. And yes.
Right.
She's always there for true. It's true thing. But yeah. All right, Kish, big up yourself. Thank you so much for making the Campus
Thank
Connection.
you.
We're very proud of you and we're looking forward
Absolutely.
to what will happen beyond this health campaign.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. And thank you to
Congrats.
Mr. Johnson and Auntie Jillian, Uncle Michael, and my dad, Sean Webb.
Okay.
All right.
Blessings.
Yes, yes. All right. And she has an event. Well, she
On
has several
Friday.
she has an event coming up on Friday. Please tell the people about that event as well.
So I'm having a sip and paint. It's a sip and paint forum. I wanted something different for this campaign. So it's at 5 to 7 p.m. at 8B1B on the Fells building at UTech JA's campus. And please come out and show your support. Refreshments will be provided, and get to come and, know about Postpartum Village. Join the conversation. Be a part of
Love
the
it.
village.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Thank you so much, Kishana, for what you're
Thank you
doing.
for
And thank you for being on the show with us today. Well, guys, you just heard it. The public awareness campaign about postpartum and everything you need to know concerning postpartum. You can check them out on their socials, as Kishana said. But I don't know. It's like the UTech Journalism Society, they just put out some
Here we
really.
go. Here we go.
Okay. Okay.
All right, go
Okay.
on. No,
Okay.
go. No, go. It's fine.
No, I'm just saying, some
Yeah.
wholesome students that are really making a difference. That's all. I mean,
Absolutely.
yeah. That's all
I
I'm
mean,
saying.
I mean,
Yeah.
also there's one such member on our team, Eden Palmer. She is definitely one of those persons. They're doing a lot of amazing things.
A lot of.
Sometimes I
That's what I mean.
feel, a
They're
little
change
FOMO
makers.
kicking in. But it's
Uh-oh.
okay. It's fine. It's fine.
Uh-oh.
It's fine.
Uh-oh.
It's
You
fine.
know
No
what?
man. Things sometimes really change. Hey, we sound old enough. Yeah, once you say things sometimes really change,
Yeah.
say.
Yes. You have.
But
Yeah. You're aging yourself on the show.
beautiful interview there with Kishana Webb, UTech Journalism Society student, sharing on her postpartum health campaign. It takes a village. Please support as best as you can. Very, very important conversation, actually. And we are so happy that we have been able to, or we were able to shed some light on that. We're going into another important conversation on domestic violence intervention. And we have some persons joining us. Anesta.
Yes, absolutely. We have Corporal Crisania Cameron from the National Domestic Violence Intervention Unit at the Jamaica Constabulary Force. We also have Constable Demario Golding from that same unit. And we have Aaron Brown, who is a student, an activist, and a public speaker. We are going to jump to a quick break, ladies and gentlemen. But when we return, we begin this very important discussion on domestic violence intervention and how you can play a part in putting an end to this. So stay with us. We'll be back with more Campus Connection.
Jamaica, stop the killing and give up the guns. Just live good now.
The time brought to you by the Ministry of National Security and Peace is 6 o'clock.
From their first crawl to their first stand to running you down all over the house, your baby won't stay still. And with Huggies Snug and Dry, they don't have to. Now with improved softness, it gives your little one long-lasting dryness and comfy protection day or night. Trusted and made just for baby. Complete their care with Huggies wipes and toiletries. Gentle on delicate skin, but tough on mess. Perfect for quick changes at home or on the road. Huggies, we got you, baby.
Join us as we celebrate 35 years of God's faithfulness. The National Intercessory Prayer Network of Jamaica and the Prayer Center of the Caribbean invite you to a Thanksgiving and fundraising gala banquet on Saturday, March 28th at 6 p.m. at Summit Kingston, featuring Dr. Jason Hubbard, Reverend Newton Gabardine, and Bishop C.B. Peter Morgan, with music by Warren Harris. Contribution $15,000 Jamaican dollars. Register now at SparOpen.com or call 876-829-6867. National Intercessory Prayer Network of Jamaica, 35 years strong. Together we rise.
Okay, where are the campus eyes? Students are strap up in a prize.
All right. Welcome back to Campus Connection here on the family station Love 101. Proudly brought to you by Live Good Anti-Violence campaign from Ministry of National Security and Peace, Jamaica's partner in advancing progress and building peace. We're talking about a very, very important conversation this evening, domestic violence intervention. And we are joined by people who know about this very well. Absolutely know about this. We have Corporal Cameron, Domestic Violence Intervention Unit, Jamaica Constabulary Force, Constable Golding, National Domestic Violence Intervention Unit, and of course we have Aaron Brown, who is a student, activist, and public speaker, and he is joining us on the conversation that we're having this evening. But to shed some light, the Ministry of National Security and Peace continues to champion programs, policies, and partnerships led by the government of Jamaica that are firmly rooted in the objectives of strengthening crime prevention, advancing peace building, and promoting safer communities across the island. At the heart of the national mission is the vital work of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, particularly through its National Domestic Violence Intervention Unit. All right, so let's get straight into the conversation. Gentle people, greetings.
Welcome.
Greetings.
Hi, good evening.
Awesome. So, lady and gentlemen, we do have a Vox Pop question that we asked to some of our campusites. But before we get into it, I just wanted to ask you all what is domestic violence and how prevalent is it in Jamaica's society? And matter of fact, let me just take Corporal Cameron for this question. Can you tell us a little bit about what it is and how prevalent it is in our society?
Good evening again. So domestic violence is a pattern of abusive behavior by individuals to gain power and control. Now, contrary to popular belief where domestic violence is a partner-related thing, we have two types of domestic violence. You have the intimate partner violence and the family violence. So perhaps fighting over deadlift. Sister and brother fight over grandmother deadlift. That constitutes to family violence. Now, we have frequent case reported where we are noticing of recent, there's an increase in males coming forward as victims of domestic violence, which emphasizes that domestic violence is not a gender-biased thing. It affects men, it affects women and children, right?
Now, No, we did ask the same question to some of our campus sites, and these were their responses. Let's listen in.
In the context of Jamaican relationships, domestic violence are often regarded only as physical abuse by one partner to another. However, domestic violence typically is a pattern of behavior in which one of the person in the relationship utilizes physical, emotional, sexual, and psychological methods of abuse to exert dominance over the other. So whenever persons think about domestic violence, never you think only about physical abuse only. It encompasses a larger scope of things.
Right. So, what is domestic violence? I think domestic violence is any form of abuse that happens within a close relationship, such as between partners, family members, or just people living in the same household. It's not just, I don't think it's just physical violence. It can also be emotional, verbal, sexual, or even financial abuse. I think things like constant insults, controlling someone's money, just isolating them from family and friends, or just making threats towards that person, that all counts as domestic violence. At its core, I think it's about power and control. One person just trying to dominate another person or harm another person. I think, importantly, it can happen to anyone, regardless of their age, gender, or just background on a whole. Now, is it true that if they hit you, they love you? That is, no, that's absolutely not true. Violence is not a form of love, it's a form of control and harm. And so love, from my perspective, I think love is built on respect, trust, and safety. Definitely not fear or pain. So when someone hits you, it shows a lack of emotional control and respect. And definitely not affection towards you. So, and importantly, I think that belief that if someone hits you, they love you, I think that is very dangerous because it can make people stay in abusive situations thinking it's normal or justified. So in reality, I think healthy relationships never involve violence. If someone truly loves you, they will protect you, they will communicate with you, and they treat you with care, definitely not hurt you.
Okay, so what is domestic violence? So domestic violence is any type of abuse towards your partner, whether it's physical, emotional, financial abuse, psychological, every kind of.
Domestic violence is abuse, plain and simple, whether it be emotional, physical, sexual, even just a threat of violence towards your partner, your intimate partner, or just someone you're in a close relationship with. Domestic violence is a corruption of what should be a beautiful connection between two people. And it is an abuse of power and just a range of abuses that are done onto your partner, someone that you're supposed to be caring for and loving. That ranges from sexual, physical, emotional, even threatening to use violence against your partner. Those are all very much disgusting things. And yeah, that's domestic violence.
So domestic violence, it's really a pattern of behavior used by one person in a relationship to control, dominate, or harm another person. And it doesn't only mean physical abuse, because while the physical abuse will include the hitting and the slapping, there's also the emotional abuse, the psychological abuse, the insults, the manipulation, the humiliation. Then there's the sexual abuse, forcing sexual activity without consent. Then there's the financial abuse, controlling all the money, and the verbal abuse, which is the constant criticism.
What?
Wow. That is very insightful, to say the least. But Aaron, wanting you to joining on the conversation, I'd want you to give your outlook, if that's the word, as relates to domestic violence as well. What are your thoughts, even listening to the Vox Pop and the responses from the question that was asked? What are your thoughts?
All right, so thank you so much for that question. And I mean, listening to the other responses, I would share the same. I can definitely agree with them all because I mean, domestic violence is something that's very prevalent in our society. But I know domestic violence to be, I know that another term for it is intimate partner violence, and it's really abuse. So it's something, it's really, if they abuse you physically, whether it's physically, emotionally, socially, any one of the alleys really, as long as you're in a relationship and you're not being valued, you're not being appreciated, you're not being loved, then really and truly you're being abused. You are facing domestic abuse. And I think a lot of times we face domestic abuse based on how we were socialized, because a lot of people are socialized in ways that they have some weird meaning as to what love is. And I believe that too can also lead to domestic violence. And like I said earlier, it's really you being undervalued in all the alleys, really. So physically, emotionally, socially, the whole work. So that's
Yeah.
really how I view domestic violence.
Absolutely. So, okay, so let me pose this one to Constable Golding. I was reading earlier this statement. It really stood out to me, and I just wanted to share it with you. It says, when young people grow up in homes where domestic violence occurs, it becomes part of what they see as normal. Now, Constable Golding, can you tell us, is domestic violence in the home connected to what we see playing out in our communities with youth and crime and gang involvement? Is that because something's happening at home that shouldn't be normal, but it has become normal? Is that what we're looking at?
Yes, domestic violence in the home does connect to what we see playing out in our communities where crime and gang involvement is concerned. There seems to be an overlap between domestic violence, child abuse, and even youth involvement in crime. So, youths who are exposed directly or even indirectly to domestic violence may experience a range of negative effects. Now, these negative effects might include anxiety, aggression, and even depression. These pose a risk of gang involvement as they may see gangs as a way of coping and finding sense of belonging or even to gain protection. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There are other factors that could contribute to the intersection of domestic violence with youth crime. First, we can speak of the whole issue of cultural normalization of violence.
Yeah.
So when youths grow up and they constantly see fights, shootings, retaliations, and seeing members of their also resolving conflict through force, they now begin to view violence as a standard way to handle these problems. Now, joining a gang tends to feel like a natural extension of that environment, if you get what I'm saying. There also comes with socio-economic factors. So in certain communities with high unemployment and low wages, young people may struggle to see legitimate paths to success. In instances like these, gangs can appear. So we have what we call a push factor and a pull factor to gang involvement and domestic violence. So youths may be pushed into a gang due to unsafe home environment or for the need of protection and belonging. So for example, a young person might not be growing up to go on the wrong path, but they're maybe not getting the necessary love at home, and they might have a friend who might say, come in man, join a gang, come in with me, you're safe over here. And that tends to recruit more and more persons going into gangs.
Corporal, we really want to hear the rest of it, but we have to go to a quick break. So we'll pick up after these messages. Stick and stay with us for more Campus Connection.
This is Love 101 FM, the family station. It's 6:15.
Project Rock, we're rocking with that. Project Rebuild, overall and construct the security force. Yeah, we're looking at that. Better surroundings for a better state of mind. New vehicle mobilization, help secure our nation. Investing in facilities for modernization. It's rehabilitation, relieving frustration. Not just for the force, but for the citizens, them same one. Project
Building today for a safer tomorrow. A message from the Ministry of National Security and Peace.
Your taxes hold the key.
It's tax time. There are now 2 due dates for filing final income tax returns. All personal income tax returns for self-employed persons, individuals, partners, and partnerships must be filed and paid by March 16. For businesses, corporate income tax return is now due April 15. All estimated tax return filings and quarterly payments remain due on the 15th of March, June, September, and December. For details, visit jamaicatax.gov.jm or call 888-TAX-HELP. Tax Administration Jamaica, working together to serve you even better.
Okay, where are the campus eyes? Students are strap up in a price.
Welcome back to Campus Connection. We are just about in our final segment of the show, and we have been talking about domestic violence. And you may be wondering, what does this really have to do with Campus Connection? Well, the reality is that domestic violence is not just about 2 partners who are in the midst of a violent relationship, but it also includes young people, children who are in these homes and are forced to either witness these things or they are directly the victims of these things. And so what happens to our youth matters to us here on Campus Connection. And we, just before the break, we were just kind of getting to understand what domestic violence really is. And Constable Golding, you were sharing a little bit about how domestic violence actually contributes to violence in communities among youth. And so we just want to allow you to finish up your answer in the next, give us about 30 seconds and to just finish up your answer so we can dive deeper into this issue.
All right. As I was saying, it has a pull and a push factor. I explained the push factor. Now onto the pull factor. This would be, in a sense where I would say gangs offer social appeal, status, money, and companionship. Things that persons who are experiencing domestic violence might not be getting at home, and they see this as a way to, make something of themselves.
Yeah.
These offers often escape, and they are attractive for those experiencing these type of situation within the homes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's it from me and my push and pull factor.
Okay.
All right. So much to unpack, but Corporal Cameron, we're seeing more conversations about young people in relationships that are toxic and abusive. What are some of the early warnings from where you sit, the early warning signs of unhealthy or abusive behavior?
All right. So one of the major red flags is control, where you see demanding passwords, so partner demanding your password, monitoring your social media, or even shared locations. And oftentimes these start out as subtle behavior, and it is mistaken for care or affection when this person is really monitoring you, reducing your independence. Also, emotional abuse, constant criticism, where we would have seen a case where the female would have been constantly criticized of her physical appearance in terms of going natural or putting on too much weight, and it had health implication. It wasn't just a case that she perhaps eat and just get big, but she was criticized by her partner where she started harming herself, like cutting up herself and stuff. But through the intervention of the unit, she was able to get counseling, and from then is doing much better. She's no longer in that relationship currently.
Wow. You know, we did ask our campusites another question, and I believe, and Aaron, I want you to listen to this because we do want you to respond as well. The question was, is it true if they hit you, they love you? And tell us why. That was a question we posed, and these were their responses.
Well, if I'm to answer, really and truly, if they hit you, do they love you? Well, growing up, I was beaten when I did something wrong. So I don't think, and people don't associate love with wrongdoing. I grew up learning that love is kind, love is patient, love is special. So if it is that somebody loves you, I believe that they will give to you the best treatment, because love is something that is supposed to be good. Love is something that should come from a place of value, from a place of integrity, from a place of high standards. So if it is somebody hits you and say they love you, I don't know what that type of love is. I've never known love to be anything of that sort. So if it is, I would say somebody says, I hate you because I love you. If they hit you, you run. Because if you stay, you are basically agreeing that that is love. And really and truly, that's not love. Because love is something that is love is beautiful. And if people beat you, they might abuse you. And if they abuse you, you become ugly. Because your eyes turn black, your eyes turn blue, and all of those stuff. So really and truly, I believe that that is one of the biggest misconception, and we need to unlearn that as a society, because love is nothing at all that's associated with bad things. So if the boy lick you, he no love you, walk away. It's not worth it. I promise you, it's not worth it. Also, I am also doing a campaign at the moment for my final media project as well. The name of the campaign is The Law She Deserves, Justice on Her Terms. The Instagram is at Her Legal Power 2026. What we do in this campaign is we provide legal awareness on the laws and the rights that supports females in the hospitality industry, supports them against wrongdoing, supports them against all illegal activities. So I definitely would ask you guys to check out the Instagram at Her Legal Power 2026 and learn more about this campaign, because I do believe that this is a message that we need to be spreading so that our females are valued, so that our females are appreciated, and so that the generations to come will unlearn these things that if them lick you, them love you, because they really don't. And so I would definitely recommend that you jump on that social media, follow the campaign, and learn something new. But if they hit you, sweetie, they don't love you. It's time. If they hit you, it's time for you to go.
There you have it. All right, we're going straight to our Vox Pop. Thank you so much, Aaron, for shedding some light on that. So, studio, take it away.
Often, many women are faced with the harsh reality of physical abuse. Unfortunately, many individuals are of the view that if they don't hit you, then they don't love you, which shouldn't be the case. These types of relationships are sort of a mirage of how we Black people were once taught to accept cruelty and unjustified punishment by our colonial masters. So it is in fact not true that if they hit you, then they love you. Also, persons who inflict these cruel actions onto their partners are typical offsprings from a domestic violent household.
Plain and simple, no. You just because they hit you don't mean to them love you. And it's so funny that this is even a question. And I think the reason why it's something that's up in the air at all in this society is because we use corporal punishment. Think, how can a father explain to their daughter that no man should be able to hit them when he himself has beat her, and then go buy her ice cream or whatever habit? That literally is exactly mirroring the cycle of abuse.
Okay, so the question, is it true if they hit you, they love you? Why?
Wow.
Strong points.
I mean, it was a strong point, and I feel like that is something that does need to be addressed. Corporal Cameron, I don't know if you want to chime in on that as well, but we also know that you're a part of the Domestic Violence Intervention Unit, and tell us a little bit about what your unit does and how it supports victims. But if you do want to speak on what that student just said, we definitely welcome your input on that.
All right, so I had a little bit of connection issue, so I just got the part about what my unit does. I didn't get the last part of what the student said. So I'll go ahead. Our unit, which is the Domestic Violence Unit, where we support the 10 domestic violence centers across the island. We place emphasis on intervention for victims. So where the case is being reported through perhaps the station, a referral is done and sent to the unit or the center. Then we will assess the case because each case is dealt on a merit basis, right? When we assess now, we will interview the victim and find out, because it is important to know that the victim has to want the help that is offered. We have counseling and we partner with various support services such as Bureau of Gender Affairs. So in the case where a shelter is required, Bureau of Gender Affairs provides such for the victim. In the case of children, we report the case to CPFSA. We partner with Restorative Justice, Victim Services Division. In the cases of rape, where it affects youth, then you know that is a CISOCA. Just to name some of the partners that we partner with. Right, and then we do follow-up, constant follow-up in the end. That's how we go about treating with victims at our unit.
Thank you so much, Corporal Cameron. Corporal Golding, as we wrap this evening's show, can you tell us why it's important to start these conversations in our schools and our youth spaces? And also, what can everyday citizens do to support survivors and, of course, prevent domestic violence?
All right. We all know that prevention is better than cure. And it is quite evident that we need to have conversations like this, given that we have cases where students in schools who are in relationships tend to get in abusive relationships, and it reaches to the ears of the police. Having open and informed conversations about domestic violence in youth spaces and school is pretty much important, because these environments are where these persons learn to understand relationships, understand safety, and also to know their own rights. No, silence often offers abuse to continue unnoticed. But if we are to educate youths about domestic violence, we can prevent harm and support those who probably already affected by domestic violence. The thing is, many young people don't fully understand what domestic violence is. Some may think it only involves physical abuse. Having these conversations with them helps to identify the unhealthy behaviors, as well as to understand what a healthy relationship should look like. Young people need guidance and communication. They also need guidance and respect. These conversations will now teach them how to manage conflict without violence and to show them what mutual respect looks like. Now, you said that you asked what does the members of the public can do to help either victims of abuse. There are many indicators if someone is in an abusive relationship. If we choose to speak to the perpetrator, we must first ensure that we are not placing the survivor or victim at further risk. As a witness to the DV, what we expect of persons in the public to do is to call the police or to contact a domestic violence intervention center. Now we have 10 of those centers across Jamaica. I don't know if time will permit permit me
I
to.
was just about to say time will not permit us to mention them all. But Constable Golding, Corporal Cameron, Aaron, we thank you guys so much for being on this discussion. I hate that we have to wrap just when you were really getting into the victim support side of it, but we are, looking forward to being updated on this issue even more. So thank you for making it Campus Connection. Thank you for being on the show. We want to say a very special thank you to all of our listeners and viewers who came on the live stream commenting, and to just everyone who was working behind the scenes to make the show what it was today. This topic or this issue on domestic violence intervention cannot stop here, and we definitely need to explore it further. But until next time, I'm Anesta.
And I'm Jonathan. See you next week as we explore more things while going on campus. Campus Connection was brought to you by Live Good Anti-Violence Campaign from the Ministry of National Security and Peace, Jamaica's partner in advancing progress and building peace.
Come on, tell me back one. Campus Connection, yeah, that's a one.
You're tuned to Family Radio Broadcasting from Kingston, Jamaica. We're Love 101 FM, and the time is now 6:31 p.m. It's that time of day.